If you want to grow juicy, delicious tomatoes, then companion planting is the answer for you. Today we're going to take a look at different plants that make great companions for tomatoes. What they do is they attract the right insects, and some of them actually help to enhance the flavor of this wonderful plant. We'll also take a look at some of them that are outright bad for your tomatoes, and so you will not want to put them close to them. And we'll take a look at the reasons why that is the case. You can make some good choices. My name is Marlene. Welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and take a look. So the first one we're going to take a look at is basil, and boy have I grown to love basil over the years. I grow them indoors in a hydroponic system, and I also grow them outdoors as well. You can get the green ones or the red ones. And how they work is that they actually attract insects that are predators to the tomato hornworm caterpillar, and those really will tear up your plant in a short time. So it's good to have these to keep those away. Also, they're said to enhance the flavor of your tomatoes. So quite often you'll see that they're sold very close together in your garden center, just to make it easier for you. If you didn't get started and it's early enough in the season, then you can always plant them by seed, which I've done quite often myself, and they germinate pretty quickly. And just to show you, this is what the seeds are. Kind of small. They look small, but this is one of those plants that is one of the first ones that I find when I'm planting herbs that start growing. And over here, these are some that a friend of us gave to us. So we're going to go ahead and plant these out. We were so happy to receive those. So moving on to the second one, and that would be marigolds. And marigolds, they're said to keep away whiteflies and root knot nematodes. And most plants don't have the ability to keep away root knot nematodes. And look at how pretty they are, guys. So they do double duty. And of course, you can get many different sizes of them. You can get, flats like you saw just now. You can get smaller ones. And you can even, sow the seeds and have them come at that point. And you can save the seed heads too, so that we can have, a supply of them from year to year. Number 3 would be cosmos. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love growing cosmos. They're said to attract lacewings, hoverflies, and ladybugs, which destroy aphids, thrips, and scale. And aren't they gorgeous? And I just love the fact that, not only do they attract these insects that are going to take out, those bad ones, but they also attract pollinators as well too. They do spread out the pink ones. So these yellow ones, these are the original ones. If you don't want them to get too big, like you're planting them kind of close to your tomatoes in the same bed, these might be a better option for you, because I found the pink ones that they really do tend to spread out a lot. But boy, do I love to watch, like the bees and all of that on them. It's just so enjoyable to see. Moving on to the next one, that would be cilantro and parsley. And they're close relatives to each other. And what they do is that they attract parasitic wasps as well, and they attract hoverflies, and those are going to come in and get rid of your bad bugs that are going to come to your garden. And this company right here, they're not sponsored, the Soul Ride Seed Company, but I actually love their seeds. And you can try some of those. Will be linked below. The next one would be lavender. Lavender gets rid of flea beetles and whiteflies, and of course, they attract lots of pollinators. Bees love them, and all the other wonderful insects out there. What I'll say about them though is that they do not like a lot of water. So, and tomatoes do, so you will not want to put them like in the same raised bed or the same large container. They'll need to be kept separate so both of their needs can be met and you can have success with them. Next, we move on to chives, or anything that's in the onion family. They deter aphids and spider mites, and they also keep away fungal diseases like blight, which can sometimes bother some of these plants. So we love that about them. And of course, the flowers are quite pretty on some of these, they call them alliums, that's a group of them. So, they do double duty in that way. Next one would be your carrots. So carrots are good companions for them because, they grow below the ground, so they do not compete for space. And also they, above that is, and they also help to aerate the soil because of, how their roots go down. So they break it up a little bit, and therefore you have more airflow going through, which is always good for your plants, and they really need that oxygen. So just to talk a little bit more about this, we've had so much going on, in recent times. So our dear friend, like I was saying earlier, gave us those, and I just want to show you how they're looking right now. We got 3 tomato plants and 2 basils, and then we bought some marigold at the garden center, just to get caught up because typically I'd maybe try seeds, but not this time because we were short on time. But you can see how they're doing over here. And I got 2 different colors of the marigolds just to mix it up a little bit. And I also did get some green onions and put right by the base because something was bothering it, but it's doing a lot better now. And I just picked off the damaged leaves, put the green onion there, and it's doing so much better. So the companion planting is really, really very helpful, guys. Over here now, I have some cosmos coming up. These I did plant from seed because they grow pretty fast and they're large, so I kept them in that container just to show you what I meant. And then over here now, if you want to know where you got those tomato cages from, we got them from Walmart, but we got ours like in the fall when the price was a really large markdown, maybe like about 30%, the cost. And just to show you what's going on my back porch right here, these are some that I put in the stackable containers. I have like basil on the top. I have some parsley right there. Only one of them grew, so I sowed some more. I have lemon balm, which we didn't really talk about in this video, but just to show you, and oregano down there too, just to show you the different herbs that you can plant and how they can be so helpful in the garden. And also I have some mint right here. It's like a tropical mint. So of course, we want to have success with our tomatoes. So we're going to take a look now to see what we can do to ensure that we keep the bad things away from them so that they can be their very best. The first one would be corn. Corn is one that you will not want to plant next to tomatoes, and the main reason is because they get pretty tall and they're going to block the sunlight from your tomatoes. Tomatoes need about 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day, so something shading them out like that is not going to do them any good unless you have them a really far away off, so you know that you're getting that level of sunlight every day. Because you want your tomatoes to be healthy, they need to get enough sun to help them to be strong, so that helps them to fight off pests and diseases when they're in a healthier state. The healthier they are, the more likely they are to not get sick. And in this recent video that I did, I went over, basically some things that you can avoid, some mistakes to have the best results, and I'll link it in the description box. Maybe put it at the end of the video for you. Moving on to the next ones, and those would be the brassicas. So that's anything in the cabbage family. And the reason for that, and you can see the broccoli there, cabbages, kale, and so on, they are heavy feeders for nitrogen because, they need it for the leaves. But tomatoes don't need nitrogen a lot when they're, fruiting, but before they get to that point, they will need a lot of nitrogen, and these are going to basically steal it from the soil. So it's best to plant them in the earlier season. By the time it starts to get warm, you'd have harvested them, and then you'll get to go to your tomatoes. And I just wanted to pause for a moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel if you have never done so before. We do lots of gardening topics, garden DIY, we show you what's at the garden center, and mistakes we've learned from, so you can, have a success in the garden. If you haven't heard from us for a while, be sure to stop by because we do weekly videos. Moving on next, and those would be the ones that are in the nightshade family. And that's the family that your tomatoes are in. So these are some peppers right here. And the reason is because they have similar pests and diseases. So if something happens to one, it's going to spread to the other one. They're all going to be affected. So sometimes, I'll see they have the hanging baskets right here for small varieties of peppers. If you're short on space, that might be a good option for you. And potatoes, guys, they look like this when they start to grow, and they, it's hard to believe that they're related to something like a tomato, but they're actually in the same family, the nightshade family, and the leaves tell the story. See how the leaves look similar on the potatoes? Next one would be fennel and mature dill. Dill is fine when it's younger, but when they're getting really older, they give off, certain chemicals that, deter your tomatoes from doing well, and the fennel, especially fennel, gives off some bad chemicals. You will want to keep those away from them. So just to go over the companion planting, guys, quite often you see that it's herbs, but it's also flowers too. They pretty much tend to have strong fragrances. And so that way they tend to, deter the bad bugs and attract the good ones. And so this is what's going on my porch right here. Just wanted to give you, just a follow-up just so you can see what everything is looking like over here. Because the last time you saw over here, it was actually in the spring. A lot of these things were not out here yet. I did plant some strawberries, and you have a little runner making another strawberry plant over there. And we did harvest a couple of them so far. So it's been doing really, really well. And I did switch out my pansies and put some begonias in there, and they should be filling out very nicely real soon. And last time you'd have seen the tour was over here on this video. So you can always go to my videos and check it out there if you'd like to. Over here, this is a lavender that was on that video. This is a Spanish lavender, and I need to deadhead it so it maybe will bloom for me again this season. We'll have to see. And of course, the rosemary is finished blooming, blossoming, and seeds fell off, and now it's looking nice and green again. And guys, just harvest your tomatoes as often as you can. The more you harvest, the more you'll get. My son actually made this salad over here, and I find that when your children or your grandchildren eat what they grow, they're more encouraged to keep doing it and eating their veggies and so on. So not only are some of these companion plants really beautiful like this here, but they serve such so many different purposes in our garden, aside from just looking really pretty. And so I hope that you'll try some of these. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much to our channel members. We appreciate you guys so much. It means so much, as well as those of you that share our videos out with those that love gardening. And if you have never, come on this channel before, we hope that you'll come back again, and certainly hope that you'll consider subscribing as well. So I hope you learned a lot from this. Let me know in the comments if you did or anything you do differently. We're always happy to learn from you. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Happy gardening, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.